Good morning, Boker Tov. This is Rabbi Jeffrey Schein from Minneapolis, and I'm wishing you a Hag Sameach, a very joyful, meaningful Pesach and Sidarim. And on behalf of Mazon, and in keeping with the concerns of Mazon, I'd like to do a little Torah teaching with you that situates us the day after Pesach, or the second day of Pesach, where we begin counting the Omer. Most of us, including myself until maybe 15 years ago, when I think of the Omer, I am automatically turned to chapter 23 of the book of Leviticus, and we have this very festive counting of the Omer, marking 50 days between Pesach and Shavuot, the waving of the sheaves of grain, a great deal of pageantry. And it took a student of mine to point out to me that the first use of the term Omer is not in Leviticus, but in the book of Exodus, chapter 16. And here's the way it unfolds. The Israelites are in the wilderness. Food is a constant struggle, but keeping Shabbat is a mitzvah. So the Israelites are told that they will be given the double portion of manna of their food on Friday, so they won't have to worry about Shabbat. And chapter 16 tells us that originally what the Israelites did was to gather according to their wants, and the regrettable situation that came out of that random gathering was an inequitable spread of resources, or to put it exactly in the words of the Torah, Vayasu Schein Yisrael v'yilkutu harbeh v'hamit, that some Israelites ended up with much and some little. So here we have a foreshadowing of what the environmentalists, Garrett Hardin, will call the tragedy of the commons. We don't know how to share resources that need to be allocated fairly, but there's a solution, and here's the way it comes. V'yimudu ba'omer. The Israelites then learned to measure what was there. V'lo hedif hamarbeh v'hamit v'lo hechsir ish lapi achlu laktu. So when they measured, when they were careful to measure, then everyone had the resources that they needed. Well, it's probably almost insulting to my listener to point out the nimshal, the lesson that we learn in terms of Mazon and its concerns. Food justice has been with us from the beginning. When we don't have all sorts of means to create it, we end up with great inequity. And our job as we move from Pesach, freedom, to Shavuot, responsibility, is to figure out the equitable ways that make sure that everyone who comes to our Seder and beyond has the food they need to sustain themselves. Hag Sameach. Have a great Pesach.